The sun dipped below the horizon as I merged onto the interstate, the hum of my car filling the silence. I had planned this solo road trip for months, a chance to escape my routine and explore the country. But as I drove through the desolate stretches of highway, a sense of unease began to creep in. It started in Ohio. A silver pickup truck had tailed me for a few exits before I lost it at a gas station. I brushed it off, attributing it to coincidence. But the next day, in Indiana, I spotted the same truck again. My heart raced as I pulled into a diner for coffee, hoping to shake off the feeling of being watched. When I stepped outside, the truck was parked just across the lot, its engine rumbling softly. I glanced at the driver, a man with unkempt hair and a vacant stare. He was looking directly at me. I quickly averted my gaze, my pulse quickening. I felt exposed like prey. Determined not to let fear ruin my trip, I resumed my journey, telling myself I was being paranoid. The road stretched endlessly ahead, but the uneasy feeling settled deep in my guts. I stopped for the night at a small motel in Illinois. As I checked in, I noticed the truck in the lot again, parked in a dimly lit corner. My skin prickled with dread. I spent the evening locked in my room, curtains drawn, phone in hand. I scrolled through my contacts, debating whether to call someone, anyone, but decided against it. I didn't want to sound crazy. Still, sleep eluded me, and the sound of a car engine idling outside kept me awake. By morning, the truck was gone, and I convinced myself it was just my imagination. I packed up quickly, eager to get back on the road. As I drove through Missouri, the sun rose higher, casting a warm glow on the landscape. But then, as I approached a stretch of lonely highway, I caught a glimpse of the silver truck in my rearview mirror. My stomach dropped. It was him, still following. I felt the weight of fear pressing down on me. I increased my speed, weaving through traffic, but he matched my pace, maintaining a steady distance. Panic gripped me as I entered a more isolated stretch of road. I needed to lose him. Taking a sharp turn, I veered onto a smaller road, gravel crunching under my tires. I could hear the truck behind me, the engine roaring to life. I felt trapped, adrenaline surging through me as I pressed harder on the gas. I glanced back, and he was right on my tail, a predatory look in his eyes. Desperation clawed at my mind. I spotted a small house in the distance and made a split-second decision, steering onto the property. I skidded it to a stop, throwing the car into park. I jumped out, ready to run, but he followed suit, his face twisted with a menacing grin. I dashed toward the house, pounding on the door, my heart racing. A woman opened it, confusion etched on her face. "Help me," I gasped, glancing back to see the man closing the distance. Before I could explain, he reached us, his presence filling the doorway. "Just looking for my friend," he said smoothly, but the threat was palpable. The woman's eyes darted between us, realization dawning. "Get inside," she shouted, pulling me in and slamming the door shut. I backed away, breathing heavily, my heart hammering in my chest. Through the window, I watched as he paced outside, frustration radiating from him. "You're making a mistake," he yelled, his voice low and dangerous. "Let her go." The woman grabbed my arm, her grip firm. "We need to call the police," she said, her voice steady despite the fear etched on her face. As she dialed, I felt a wave of relief wash over me, but the dread remained. Outside, the man was waiting, a dark shadow lingering on the doorstep of my mind. I had thought the road would bring freedom, but instead it had brought me closer to a nightmare. Hours passed, but he never left. Each moment felt like a countdown, and the sound of sirens in the distance felt like a distant hope. The road may have taken me far, but now I understood. Sometimes the monsters you meet on your journey are closer than you think.